What up, homies? Shane here from the Hobby Homies podcast. Today, we're building a desk for my home recording. Okay, so here are the tools that I use for this build. Cordless drill with a Phillips head bit, a timber bit for drilling pilot holes, and a countersink bit. I'll explain what they are later on in the video. I also bought a box of 10 gauge 75mm timber screws for the frame, and a box of 8 gauge 25mm timber screws for the top. I also used a tape measure, a carpenter's pencil, PVA glue, a set square, and a miter saw. Instead of the miter saw, you could get away with using a circular saw or a hand saw, and instead of the set square, a steel rule will do the job. For materials, I chose 4 pieces of 2.1 meter 90 by 35mm structural pine. I bought that from Bunnings. When buying timber from places like Bunnings or Home Depot or wherever you might be, always take it out of the rack, lay it on the ground and flip it over a couple of times. Make sure it's all square. If it's bowed or twisted, it will make it a lot harder when it comes to pulling up everything. For the top, I just used one piece of MDF, which was 1200 by 600 by 9mm. The first thing I did was cut the legs at 900mm, as that's a comfortable height to sit and stand at. It also is the same height as my gaming table. I did a similar process for this build as I did for my 6x4 gaming table, although the table had a bit more into it as far as support, just to hold the weight of the top and the miniatures and the terrain and all that sort of stuff we see on there. Always make sure you've got the appropriate PPE on. Safety's the biggest thing. I was a mechanic for 10 years and the one thing I wish I could do is go back and wear earmuffs when using power tools. Things like cordless drills and sanders isn't too much. I just get in the habit of wearing earmuffs all the time, almost. Glasses, you might see me here forgetting to wear my glasses, but gloves too, just as important. Okay, now that the legs are done, I start on the frame. So the long sides are cut to 1200mm and the shorter sides are cut to 530mm. So the reason that I did that was because you need to take into consideration the thickness of the outer pieces for the frame. So because the timber is 90 by 35, 2 sections of 35, quick math equals 70mm, so you need 530mm in between. So that's the frame all cut to size. A little bit early for a beer, so we'll drink some water instead. Just like we're in PPE, it's always good to drink plenty of water on a warm day. And one of the things I learned from my high school woodworking teacher was clean up as you go instead of cleaning up all the shit at the end. It just makes life a little bit easier there. So, all right, now we get started into pre-drilling the holes for the frame. Also countersink to help pull those screws in nice and flush. PVA glue here as well, used for added strength. now we start putting the legs together. So looking back, I probably should have done this a different way. It would have been smarter to build the legs in like a sub-assembly, perhaps 2 legs together instead of doing them individually. Later on, you'll see that I brace the legs, but definitely, yeah, next time I'll be building these, 2 separate legs, maybe the short sides together, brace them, and then it'll be much easier to put them all in together. Alright, well that about sums the voiceover, so enjoy watching me struggle here and rack my brain and curse not doing it the way that I just mentioned, and I'll talk to you at the end. Cheers. last thing we do here is just clamp the tabletop to the frame and 4 screws go in. Don't really need anything more, it's just a desk in the end. The reason we did this build was because we can't go to the studio due to the coronavirus, so Fox, myself and Churchy are all recording from home, and this gives me somewhere to do it. So yeah, thanks for hanging around. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment and subscribe. If you haven't heard the show, we have new episodes up every Sunday, Spotify, iTunes and wherever you find your podcasts. And all the music was produced by our sound guy, Churchy. So massive thanks to him. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. And yeah, we'll be back with more. Peace.